Welcome back to the Team to Beat Miami Heat podcast, your one-stop shop for daily Miami Heat and NBA content. My name is Amir. For today's episode, I want to talk about an interesting trade rumor to discuss. Jerami Grant from the Portland Trail Blazers could be available, and the Blazers are looking to move him because he has a hefty contract. He has 3 years left, and we're going to dive into whether the Miami Heat should consider making a move for him or not. So Jerami Grant, let's talk about that contract. So yes, he does have 3 years left, and he has 102.6 million in total commitment. So if you break that down, next season he's making 32 million. The season after that, 34.2, and then in 2027 he's going to be making 36.4 million as a player option. I think he's going to be 33, 34 in that final year. So I'm assuming he's most likely going to take that deal no matter where he's at. So now for a team like the Miami Heat who are looking to stay competitive, the Miami Heat don't tank, they don't rebuild, we just retool. This could be a tricky situation adding a contract of that size because there can be some risks, especially when you're already committing to Bam Adebayo. His max extension kicks in after next season. He's making 37 next year. Then that jumps up into the 50s. Tyler Hero's eligible for a contract as well. And does Jerami Grant fit in financially with this roster? Does he make this team better? So before we get ahead of ourselves, talking about Jerami Grant in general, Miami have shown interest in him in the past. He's a talented two-way player. He's 6'8", has a good wingspan, versatile forward. He can contribute on both ends of the floor, which is important and imperative for this Miami Heat team moving forward. We need more athletic two-way players. Offensively, he's proven that he can be a good scorer. 2 seasons ago, he averaged over 20 points per game. He's averaged over 23 times in his career, and he could spread the floor 37% almost from three from his entire career. So not bad for someone who's 6'8" and a power forward. So he is someone that can definitely help with one, defense, but two, spacing the floor. And Miami has been missing consistent outside threats outside of Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero. Issue with them is you can't play them both at the same time because of the defensive liabilities. But adding Grant on this roster can shore up a hole. And the only issue with Grant, though, is again his injury history. Last season played 47 games only, and 54 the year before that, and 63 before that, 47, 54, 24. So he hasn't played over 70 games since 2018. So that's an issue, but he's also done it earlier on in his career. And Tyler Hero just hit 70 games for the first time in his entire NBA career. So, but still not great to add a guy who is theoretically injury prone. So that is one issue. But the biggest thing here is defensively, Grant is solid. He's strong, agile defender. He can guard multiple positions, which is crucial in Miami's defensive oriented system. His versatility allows him to defend both wings and even some fours. And with the Miami Heat still focusing on defense as a core part of their identity, adding a player who could switch, contest shots, who could rotate and get spots, get to the stops that we need, that would be a huge boost for the Miami Heat. So, how does he fit in with the current roster? So, Jimmy Butler no longer on the roster. The Heat need to fill that gap. We tried to do that with Andrew Wiggins, and it didn't really work out. Andrew Wiggins is a similar player to Jerami Grant, in my opinion. He's a little bit smaller than Jerami Grant, but same age, similar type of player. So I think Grant could be a key piece, especially with Tyler Hero now stepping up as the primary offensive engine for the Miami Heat, adding a player who is capable of scoring 20 points per game multiple times in his career, something Andrew Wiggins has not done, could help the Miami Heat as that next scoring option with Bam Adebayo. And again, he's ultimately going to help you on the defensive end too. So he can come in as a 3 or 4. So if we want to play small ball, we can play with him. If we want to be big, we can obviously play with him as well. As now our front court is uh, focusing on adding Khalil Ware, Bam Adebayo, having him in there could be huge as him contributing as a 3 and D forward who can take some scoring load off of Tyler Hero, which we desperately needed that during the playoffs. And he can also help lock down the opposition's best wing player, which is great. So this is the team that has toughness, and bringing in a guy like Grant can elevate this team. And I think it's something that we need to focus on. And this is the thing, though. people are saying that if they do trade him, the Blazers need to attach a first round pick. And if they do that, then that's when the Miami Heat should actually consider this. If Portland is giving up a first round pick, Miami should consider this. If they're not, I wouldn't, because of his age, because of his injury history, because of his contract. But remember, the Miami Heat aren't looking to rebuild. So they're aiming to stay competitive in the East. So adding a player that they know can also be under contract for the next few years can make sense, especially with the upcoming changes on this roster. And if the Heat can trade Rozier and one other player, I would do that. Like, imagine having him, Wiggins, Haywood, Highsmith. That gives us three guys who are 3-and-D type guys, wing players who are solid, and also re-signing Davion Mitchell. That's another great guy that comes off the bench. Jovic, we have Ware, we have Jaime, all these young pieces that can develop. Pelle Larson. I think Jaime is going to bounce back. So having him on the roster and keeping Wiggins, I think could be pretty interesting. And I don't think I would want Hero starting necessarily at point guard, but you can have a pretty big lineup if you have Hero, then you have Wiggins at the 2, you have Grant at the 3, Bam at the 4, and Ware at the 5. That could be very interesting from a defensive perspective and offensive perspective as well. So overall, Jerami Grant could be a solid addition to this Miami Heat team if they're willing, if the Blazers are willing to give up a first round pick. And that's what the Miami Heat had to do to get off Kyle Lowry to get Rozier, which was a bad trade in hindsight. But if we can get that extra trade asset for the future, then I think it's worth potentially keeping him, because we don't know how long Andrew Wiggins is going to be on this team. He has one more year guaranteed on their contract, and he has a player option, so I could see him potentially leaving, and so that can fill in a gap as well. But yeah, the Heat want to stay competitive, and adding defensive-minded two-way players, I think, is beneficial for the Heat. So let me know what you guys think. Do you think Jerami Grant makes sense in Miami? Do you think it's worth it? Let me know your thoughts. Thanks for watching.